This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 417.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash. 404 error. Page not found. Links aren't working. System is crashing. System is crashing. System is crashing.
Your old HTML website. Barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website. Better than it was before. Better. Stronger.
Faster. We have the technology.
Why, hello everybody. This is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have one next week. WordCamp Prague 2022 Live, as it's being called, will be actually on February 26th, 2022, which I believe is Friday. I think that's Friday. Am I right on that? I think so. It's pretty cool. And it's live, meaning it's not going to be pre-recorded sessions. Everything takes place in real time and without recordings. There will be developer lectures, thematic panels, lively discussion, and experts will be in the slots, answering questions, having a conversation back and forth. That's pretty cool. So check that out. Unlike some of the past 2 years, most of the conferences have been, for the most part, pre-recorded types of sessions just to make it easier on people. So check that out. What else is in the events? That's it for the events. Moving on to segment 1 in the news. 2 things here. Updraft Plus. It's a big plugin for making backups that you can then download and migrate sites. Apparently, there was a massive vulnerability in this tool, in this plugin. So it was automatically updated. It was the issue was found, it was patched, and then it was pushed out automatically, forced out by WordPress itself to update, I think, like 3 million sites. If your site wasn't updated, because not every server can handle that sometimes. I mean, there might be different setups in your PHP or My Functions, PHP My Admin. Something could be different. You're going to want to make sure that you do go back and update if you're running Updraft Plus, because it's a massive vulnerability. So that's that in the news. Also in the news, last week's episode 416, marked 8 years of my podcasting, a weekly episode of this podcast, which is pretty cool. March 2nd is actually when I launched it, but because of the calendar and the years and the leap and all that stuff. Anyway, 416 was 8 years. So I just want to say thank you to all those people who sent well wishes, because I put it out there on social media. I forgot to mention it last week. I did the math after the fact. That was going to be coming up, but I didn't realize I just missed it. Anyway, so thanks for that. 8 years, kind of crazy. I think I've counted about 2 or 3 broken bones in that time frame. Not so bad. But nonetheless, 8 more? We'll see. I don't know about that. All right, moving on. Segment 2, the meat and potatoes of this week's episode. We're talking about things, let's go this way. We're talking about forums. So if you're a longtime listener of this podcast, I have ideas, lots of them. Matter of fact, I recently coined a term, I think I coined it, call myself an ideation savant. And I mentioned this because someone at the dog park recently, I just told them this, and they totally got it. They're saying, yeah, you're a starter. And yes, I am. I have lots of ideas. I start a lot of things. And with that said, I've had an idea that focuses in the airline industry, where my wife works, and I'm looking at it a bit more closely lately. Plus, as things are opening up back up a bit, I think backupspeaker.com might just have a comeback this year. And I'm thinking about doing a forum there as well. It was in the works 2 years ago when I launched, but of course, COVID ruined that little plan. So my plan is to share with you all about forums. So you're saying, why not use Facebook and Facebook groups? Well, so many reasons why not to use Facebook. First and foremost, it's Facebook. Lack of organization, lack of content, lack of privacy. It's hard to go back to find content, etc. So I've seen more and more groups leaving Facebook to go to some other platforms. And I'm looking at some other platforms as well. But with that said, I'm going to start doing a series like I did last year on e-commerce alternatives as well as WordPress alternatives. So now we're going to just kind of do some forums discussions as well. So this week, I'm starting with one called Asgaros, Asgaros, and it's pretty cool, short version there. Let me dive into it. It's like a 10,000 foot view. So of course, I created a new site on my dev server. I installed the plugin from the dashboard repo. It's free, by the way, and we'll talk about that as well in a minute. I noticed a few other related plugins in the repo, but I skipped those for now. I went ahead and activated it, and upon activation, I immediately saw the word forum in the admin area left side. So it's a custom post type is how it's working. And hovering over that word forum, I saw structure, appearance, user groups, and settings. Clicking settings, as I always go right to the settings, I see the top of the new page, docs and official support forum links, which is pretty cool. I clicked the docs real quick, and I got an early hint that it uses a shortcode. So it uses the word forum between the brackets. From there, I went ahead and popped down to the settings to see what all the settings would be, and I took a screenshot here. I'm going to bring this up real quick so I can tell you what they were, because there's a lot of settings. And the settings cover anywhere from features, URLs and SEO, permissions, breadcrumbs, notifications, mentions, member list, profiles, uploads, reports, signatures, activity, polls, spoilers, which I didn't look at spoilers, reputation, and statistics. And each one of those those are all just the tabs on the left of general with inside of settings. So they all have different things within them. So there's a lot of stuff you can do here. And I didn't change much, if anything, there at all, actually. I don't think I did. Did I change anything? I don't think I did. So from there, I went up to appearance, and appearance is pretty basic. You can change the overall colors of the interface of the form itself, as well as add custom CSS. So you can actually do some customizations there. Pretty cool. Heading back up to structure, the options are a new form or new category. And this was a little confusing at first. I was like, what does what technically? And after messing with it around, you want to create the category first and then the form within it. For example, let's say you have cities as a category, Boston, Fort Lauderdale, New York. Within that, you can have a forum as well as subforums. So you could have cities, and then JFK, and then housing is one of them. So that'd be a forum would be, so the city is the category, JFK is the forum, housing is a sub-forum of JFK. Same thing, cities, JFK, for sale trade. And it makes sense, it depends again how you want to set things up. After spending some more time, I found out that you can actually control the access based on user groups, which is really cool. So if you have certain people that are only in JFK versus Fort Lauderdale, you can have them see only things that are relevant from that group of JFK. So it's kind of neat. And if they transfer bases, you can switch them over kind of thing. So I thought it was really neat, actually. And I can definitely see a lot of potential here. And there are a lot of, by the way, there are a lot of forum plugins out there. A lot of them are actually premium, as far as I can see or tell. Some have some updates, some upgrades as well. So my take really quickly on this is I like it a lot. Even though I never heard of it, I never heard it at all. The support form of its own plugin, very well supported. The docs are pretty good. I mean, they're really good, and they're great. It made total sense to me how it works. And I think the only thing I'd have to figure out is the connections to a membership aspect. Like, how do you want to let people log in or create an account and prevent spam? And can I lock it down based on an email address, like a top level domain? Like if you had, a companyname.com to kind of confirm. So if it's not in that list, how do you do that? Could I do that in this one? I've seen that done other places, like .edu, to make it work. So I'm looking at some other options there. And there were some other add-ons and whatnot, and some cool case studies. But like I said, pretty cool. I'm actually really excited about this idea that I have. I'm not sure this is the best plugin at the moment for it. I'm going to go through probably another 10 of them and share those with you as well, and we'll go from there. So I'm curious, are you using forums? Are you interested in leaving Facebook groups to your own forum platform? In this case, it's kind of cool. You have it on a WordPress website, which I think is the place to do it. At least one of the places. There are other platforms also, like I mentioned earlier. I will check that out as well. Lastly, price. It's free. I couldn't find any pro version, any upgraded version. You can donate money to the guy who wrote it, but I didn't see anything in there that there was a premium version at the moment. So that's kind of neat as well. So I like the fact that it's free. So there you go. Check it out. Once again, it's called Asgaros, Asgaros. It's in the repo. I'll put a link in the show notes, of course, and check it out. And maybe I'll do a video on that. Maybe that's my plan. Start doing some more videos in the forums that I don't have yet. Anyway, okay, moving on. So from there into segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week's tip, it's a summit. It's free. It's over at LifterLMS. So LifterLMS is a learning management system. They have a free summit called Enroll Summit. The Enroll Summit helps course creators and coaches go from 0 to 10 enrollments in 30 days. I heard about this on Chris Badgett's show on his podcast. They have a LifterLMS podcast, which is a really good podcast, by the way. I listen to it all the time. Always picks up something new from there. Chris is a great guy, great team. over there at LifterLMS. So I just want to share they have a free summit. You should check it out. It's over. I'll put a link in the show notes so you can find it easily enough. All right, that's it. Let me wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@kitchensinkwp.com, or use that speak pipe function of the website. You can support the show, become a patron. I would really appreciate that, as well as sponsor the show. There's a form on the website as well. Thanks for listening, and see you next week. Now go out to some awesome things with WordPress. All right, bye-bye.